You're facing 7 invisible forces right now. They're not attacking you from the outside. They're operating from within. Most people never name them, so they never defeat them. But you're still here, which means you're different. This isn't about feeling better. This is about seeing clearly. The Stoics understood something most modern minds refuse to accept. Your greatest enemy isn't out there. It's the quiet sabotage you've normalized. Marcus Aurelius ruled Rome and still fought daily battles with himself. Epictetus was a slave who became freer than his masters. Seneca had wealth but knew it meant nothing without inner sovereignty. They didn't need applause, they needed truth. Today, you'll identify 7 silent destroyers, not to confess them, not to announce your transformation, but to remove them in silence, because real power doesn't perform, it acts. First destroyer, craving external approval. You were conditioned early. Good grades earned praise. Obedience earned smiles. Bad behavior earned withdrawal. Your worth became tied to others' reactions. Now you're an adult, but the pattern remains. Likes, comments, recognition, they're just new versions of the same trap. You modify yourself to fit expectations. You silence your truth to avoid rejection. You live according to convenience, not conviction. How many times have you killed an idea before speaking it? How often do you reshape yourself to avoid discomfort? The price of acceptance is yourself. Before we continue, this is where most people quit. If you're still here, you're different. Subscribe to this channel, not for motivation, but for mental tools you can actually use. In a world of noise, we offer direction. In a world of distraction, we build discipline. Hit that subscribe button now. Let's continue. Freedom doesn't require announcement. It requires withdrawal from the game. Stop justifying who you are. Stop performing for validation. Epictetus said it clearly: if someone questions your worth, ask yourself if it's true. If not, move forward. Your authenticity doesn't need defense. It needs expression. Second destroyer, measuring yourself against others. You wake up neutral. Then you open your device. Someone's winning, traveling, building, celebrating. Suddenly your peace becomes restlessness. Nothing actually changed except the comparison. You're judging your private struggle against someone's public victory. You're comparing the seed you planted yesterday to the tree that's been growing for decades. This metric was never meant for you. Every path has different terrain, different timing, different lessons. The question isn't, am I ahead or behind? The question is, am I moving according to my own compass? When you stop measuring yourself through others' milestones, you start walking your actual path. Inspiration expands you. Comparison imprisons you. One opens doors, the other builds walls. Choose wisely. Third destroyer, constant verbal negativity. Not every poison screams. Some disguise themselves as casual conversation. Complaining feels like release. It feels like you're addressing the problem, but you're not. You're rehearsing it. Every complaint reinforces the pattern. Your mind hears you describe the obstacle and assumes you're powerless. The weather, the system, other people, everything becomes the reason you can't move. Complaining keeps you reactive. It keeps you stuck. The shift is simple. Stop asking, why is this happening to me? Start asking, what can I do about this? That single question moves you from victim to architect. You don't need to announce you've stopped complaining. Just stop. The world doesn't change when you talk differently about it. It changes when you act differently within it. Fourth destroyer, bonds that cost more than they give. Not every relationship that once nourished you still does. Some connections were right for who you were, not who you're becoming. You don't always see it through conflict. Sometimes it's the exhaustion after the interaction. The need to recover your balance, the sense that you're performing rather than existing. Healthy relationships don't require constant masks. Toxic ones demand them. Distance doesn't require drama. You don't owe explanations to those who drain your energy. You can simply create space, reduce access, protect what's yours, Growth sometimes looks like absence. The ones who matter will understand. The ones who don't will reveal they only valued your lack of boundaries. Who you give your time to determines what grows inside you. Choose accordingly. Fifth destroyer, carrying responsibility that isn't yours. Some burdens were placed on you without your consent. Family expectations, others' emotions, situations you didn't create. You absorbed them because you thought that's what love required. But compassion doesn't mean self-erasure. Empathy doesn't mean carrying everyone's weight. You apologize for setting boundaries. You apologize for not fixing what you didn't break. This isn't maturity. This is imprisonment. Clarity begins when you separate what's actually yours from what you've been holding. You can care without carrying. You can support without drowning. When you stop apologizing for protecting your peace, something realigns. The unnecessary weight lifts. You walk lighter. Sixth destroyer, refusing what must change. The familiar feels safer than the unknown. Even when staying hurts, there's comfort in predictability. Your mind offers excuses. It's not that bad. Maybe later. I'll handle it soon. But soon becomes never. Resistance pretends to be caution. It's actually fear. Fear of losing control, fear of the uncertain, fear of failing. Staying miserable feels easier than stepping into possibility, but that safety costs you growth. It costs you time. Change doesn't require drama. It starts with one small decision, one different choice, one new direction. Discomfort isn't your enemy. It's your invitation. The pain of change is temporary. The pain of remaining the same is permanent. Fear will always say you're not ready. Walk anyway. Seventh destroyer, denying your internal experience. Pretending you're fine doesn't make it true. Suppressed anger, ignored grief, buried anxiety, they don't vanish. They ferment. They reappear as exhaustion, irritation, emptiness. Denying what you feel isn't strength. It's disconnection from yourself. Accepting your emotions isn't weakness. It's awareness. When you give feelings language, they lose their chaos. Anger signals a violated boundary. Sadness marks an ending. Anxiety reveals the gap between who you are and who you're becoming. These signals aren't problems. They're intelligence. When you stop running from what you feel, you stop being controlled by it. You become the observer, the one who steers. This is mastery, not the absence of emotion, but the courage to face it. You've just walked through 7 silent destroyers. The question now isn't what you know, it's what you'll do. Maybe you've already started releasing some of them. Maybe others still have their grip. That's acceptable. Transformation doesn't need to be rushed. It just needs to be honest. You don't need to become someone else overnight. You just need to live with more truth today. Stop seeking validation. Stop measuring yourself through others. Replace complaints with action. Create distance from what drains you. Release guilt that was never yours. Move through change with courage. Make peace with what you feel. Each act of awareness is a step toward freedom. And freedom doesn't announce itself. You simply feel it. It lives quietly within. Now seal this with yourself. Write in the comments, "I choose to let go in silence." That sentence is more than words. It's the first step of a new chapter. Because the revolution that changes your life doesn't begin in noise. It begins in silence. Until next time.